Hello, hello. Welcome back to our final episode of the series where we are using Bazi to decode the principles in the psychology of money. Hooray! Last episode. Okay, what am I going to share next? I have no clue. Okay, so this is I think this is episode 15 in the series and corresponds to chapter 18 of the book where when you will believe anything. But first, 30 seconds quick intro in case this is the first time we're meeting. Okay, so my name is Paulynne Cheng. I am a Bazi and Feng Shui practitioner. I use this art to empower, not to disempower, and it's personal for me. This right. So I was formerly a communications field of a live broadcast producer. Today, I run my own micro one-person consultancy. So if you have enjoyed this series and find that I'm delivering value, would like to explore your chart further, booking link in the description. And very important disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. I'm a Bazi and Feng Shui practitioner. I read energy. So I'm not a licensed financial advisor or a consultant or anything in that field. So please take this content as in the spirit that it was meant for, which is for education and entertainment purposes. Okay. So now, of course, I hope you enjoy the content. So another possible title for this chapter could be called The Stories We Tell Ourselves. The more consults I do, the more important I feel this to be. The stories we tell ourselves is so very important for our ability to take action. If the internal narrative is always on the negative side, then self-motivation becomes hard, doesn't it? Right? Let's take an example that all of us have experienced, the year 2020 and 2021, when we all got shut into our homes. Remember? Right. So there were fears of losing our jobs, very real fears. But did you know in 2020 and 2021 especially saw a global uptick in the registration of new businesses. This is not according to Pauline. This is according to the World Bank report, which says that 92% of economies worldwide experienced an increase in new business registrations in 2021. The United States alone saw a record breaking 5.4 million new business registrations in 2021. If we assume that the US makes up like 15 to 20% of the global GDP, we can then roughly extrapolate that 5.4 million equals 15 to 20% of global new business activity, which means that in 2021, we can roughly estimate that 27 to 36 million new businesses were registered worldwide in that 1 year, including one called the Hidden Sun. Okay, so this is only counting the registered businesses, okay? We're not even counting the micro or informal businesses that may or may not have business registrations. So what does this tell us? Okay, while some were frozen in fear and pessimism, oh, what's the point? It's all useless anyway. Others were telling themselves a different story, one filled with possibility, even in the middle of a crisis. This is not positive thinking our way out of a bad cycle. This is about positive thinking to take action so that we can strategize our way out of a bad cycle. So that's the power of narrative, not just in theory, but in real world impact. Boy, that's a long spiel. Okay, let's get on with the excerpts of the book. Okay, Chapter 18 in the book pretty much talks about confirmation bias. The more you want something to be true, the more likely you are to believe a story that overestimates the odds of it being true. Like the butt of my favorite jokes, okay, the flat earthers. Even if you were to take them to space and show them a round sphere, they'll still say the earth is flat. Okay, because in order to embrace a different point of view, it causes a lot of psychological discomfort. Some could even say psychological pain. Every one of us has an incomplete view of the world, but we form a complete narrative to fill the gap. All of us do this. How do you think conspiracy theories happen? Okay, so as a Bazi reader, we confront this all the time. The client has convinced themselves somehow that life is going to suck. Takes a huge amount of energy to penetrate that fog, and we wonder why puzzle reading is exhausting. Okay, so which is where mind priming is going to play a role. In the previous episode, we spoke about optimism versus pessimism and how we can sustain optimism. So, what we're going to do in this episode is a simple mind priming or self priming exercise that you can do every day to start training your subconscious mind. To do that, we leave the realm of Bazi. We're going to do some Qimendunjia. Okay, so as always, you need to plot your Bazi chart. Okay, link to the free Bazi plotter provided by the JY Mastery Academy is in the video description. And important disclaimer, terminologies I'm using and the Bazi chart in this free sharing are copyrighted materials belonging to Datuk Joya and the JY Mastery Academy. To learn more about what they do, visit joyap.com. Okay, so once you have your chart, you don't have to scroll nowhere. Okay, this information we're looking for is right at the top under the label Guardian of Destiny. You see this here? I circled it. It's called, we see a Guardian of Destiny Chief. Okay, let's do another example. Okay, second example, Guardian of Destiny, Snake. Okay, so to explain, they're not really some external deity nor nothing. Okay, very simple term, the deities represent one of the 10 powers of our subconscious minds. The ancient Chinese likes words like gods or deities because it's more poetic. Okay, so these so-called powers are inborn within us, whether we are aware of it or not. So, for example, in the past, one of my TV crew members was a strong surging snake. Okay, the surging snake is great for looking for stuff, lost things. He had no clue he was a surging snake. Okay, but when things get lost, guess who I sent to find it? Okay, but what if these powers of our subconscious minds can be trained? That's the crux of today's sharing. So, step one, identify your guardian of destiny. Now that we have step one done, we're going to step two. Okay, when you hear the affirmation related to your guardian of destiny, I invite you to type your affirmation into the comments below. Instant, immediate, hear it, type it, claim it. Okay, next, last step. Okay, write your affirmation on a piece of sticky note. Okay, and stick it on a stick it on. My sticky notes are full of notes. Okay, stick it on a mirror and repeat to yourself every morning or evening as you wish, right? When you are brushing your teeth, because that's the one thing that you do regularly every day, right? Right? You brush your teeth, right? What do you mean you don't brush your teeth? So when you're brushing your teeth, read it to the person in the mirror looking at yourself. That's a nice way to do this. Okay. So let's move on. Let's start with the chief. Okay. If you have the chief, know that the chief is the wish maker, the ultimate wish maker. But the thing with the chief is you kind of need to be very specific. In fact, you need to be specific with all the deities. So here's the affirmation for those of you with the chief. Okay. Today I grow 1% better than yesterday in my body, my finances, my relationships, my health, and my work. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a step towards financial freedom. And okay. Now, don't scoff at 1% better. Okay. After 1 year, what happens is 365% better. Is good enough, not good enough. Okay. So next, before we move forward, the artwork here is very generously provided for me by my good friend Jonas Lee at Ranerchi. Okay, thank you, Jonas. Shout out to Jonas for allowing me, giving me permission to use the artwork that he has created. Okay, next is the black tortoise, the power of mind control. If you've been given the power to tap into any mind, why would you waste it on tapping into low level minds? Right? So here's the affirmation: I can tap into the minds of successful people. Their ideas inspire me, Their thinking helps me grow, and I learn from their experiences, their mistakes, and their mindset to create my own path to financial freedom and success. Okay, this works because very often when we are learning something, beyond learning the technical, we are actually trying to glean or glimpse the mindset behind their approach. Like when we are in a Bazi class, of course, when we are pure noobs, we are 100% focused on the technical. But after we have gained a certain level of proficiency, we're then trying to tap into the trainer or the teachers or the sifu's mindset, and we're thinking, so this is how you approach this issue, this is how you use this information, right? Similarly, if you aspire to become a successful trader or investor, okay, beyond the technical jargon, we're trying to tap into the minds of successful investors so that we can learn their approach and the rationale or the reasoning behind it. Imagine being able to tap into Warren Buffett's brains. Haha. Okay. I still remember when I did the when I filmed the series purely on the 10 deities. Somebody asked me that if having the chief would make one immune to the mind control effect of the black tortoise. And I always when I read that comment, I was going like, first of all, what makes you think the black tortoise wants to read your mind? Okay, so since you've been given this power, use it by tapping into those you aspire to be. Okay, next, nine heavens, the curator of our future. If the nine heavens is your guardian of destiny, I sincerely hope you see a bright future for yourself. Because if you see a dark and depressing future, okay, so all these deities are neutral. The judgment of good and bad is given by humans with our ability to fill in the gaps. So the power of any of these deities can be used for the good and betterment of society, but at the same time can also be used for bad. So since the nine heavens is a divine pathfinder, we ask it through our affirmations to open doors for us. Example, I open all pathways that allow my talents to be fully seen, valued, and rewarded. As I step into my full potential, I move steadily towards financial freedom. Feel free to write your own interpretation as well. Of course, feel free to do that. In the past, I've done something similar, but in a more simple and wealth structure type of way. I basically just say, "You open the path, I walk." Okay, so that was a very simple manifestation, but it worked. Okay, so next is the red phoenix. If you have the red phoenix as the guardian of destiny, you are not allowed to complain. The more you complain, the worse things will get. Why? The red phoenix uh, represents the power of speech. Your words somehow carry more weight and gravitas with the universe, which means that you have to be mindful of the types you use every day. So, therefore, rule number one with the red phoenix, do not curse yourself. Okay, so here's the primer for the red phoenix. I breathe air and intention into every word. What I speak becomes my truth, and what I name, I claim. My voice attracts opportunities, opens doors, and guides me towards financial freedom. Next, if the nine heavens governs future resources, then nine earth governs present resources, current day resources. The trick with the nine earth lies in your ability to recognize resources. If you have the nine earth and you walk around with blinders on, or if you have a scarcity mindset, then GG already. Okay, so affirmation: open my eyes to recognize the resources around me, the right people, tools, knowledge, and idea. I magnetize the ones I need and use them wisely to build my path to financial freedom. Next, surging snake. also one of the resourceful ones. In fact, one of my favorites because the results is often immediate. So, because why is it immediate? Because the surging snake has the capacity to manipulate the environment, the immediate physical environment. Think of it like a rope, a long, thin rope that can go into all these hidden crevices and pull out all sorts of jewels and gold and precious stones. Okay, and it's permanently attached to you, so it brings it back to you. Nice, eh? Nice. So here's the affirmation: I bend reality in my favor. I thrive in the unexpected, turn the strange into strategy, and magnetize the right chances to build lasting wealth and freedom from even the most unlikely places. Moving on to the great moon. The great moon, as a guardian of destiny, is like having a permanent library pass to the library of the universe, which means that having the great moon means being able to make use of information, because no matter what, whatever information that you want to know, doesn't matter whether it's useful or useless, it will still come to you. It's like you have your own chat GPT. Okay. So great moon individuals tend to be knowledgeable. They know a lot of things. There's always a thirst for knowledge. The problem is very often they usually sit on their data, don't know how to use. Hence the affirmation. Information flows to me, through me, and from me. I make the complex simple, the unseen visible, and the learned profitable, paving my way to financial freedom. Next is the grappling hook. Okay, also connected to information, or more specifically with the hook, wisdom and insights from the past. The presence of a grappling hook as a guardian of destiny usually indicates an inherited gift or talent. Could be an inborn talent, or could be something external, like inheriting something useful from the past. Example, inheriting a recipe that you can then create a business around. Okay, that's the power of the grappling hook. So here's the affirmation: ancient insights and wisdom flow through me and find new life in the modern world. I turn the old into gold and build my path to financial freedom with it. Next is the sixth harmony, the boss of connectivity and relationships. This one is in charge of, in my opinion, one of the most important resources of all: other people. Opportunities always come from other people, right? Okay. But here's a side note: six harmony individuals tend to experience more than their fair share of relationship problems, because supposed to learn how to manage relationships. So hence you experience a bit more of it. But it is great for connecting with people. So here's the affirmation: every person who enters my space today is aligned to my purpose. We grow together, support one another, and co create the path to financial freedom. Okay, so as you can see by now, there's a trend going on. I'm using the words to remind yourselves. In some cases, it is to recognize. Even for the sixth harmony, is to recognize that every person who comes to me today somehow is going to be my nobleman. Okay, and finally, the white tiger, the deity of physical energy. This guy is damned important, okay? Can be as ambitious as you want, but without the corresponding physical energy to carry out your plans, it's game over. So, affirmation: I tap into an endless well of physical energy. With sharp focus and unstoppable motivation, I turn my actions into momentum and my momentum into financial freedom. Okay, and there we go. Okay, we've reached the last of our affirmations. Okay, let me just stop share so that I can come. There we go. This is the final episode of of, of this series where we decode the psychology of money by Morgan Housel through the lens of Bazi. I hope that you have enjoyed this series as much as I have enjoyed preparing it for you. It would be I'll see you in the next series where I haven't decided what I'll do yet, but I hope that you have enjoyed our time together, and I hope you've enjoyed this series. Certainly hope that you have found value in it. Okay, so now go take your affirmation, which you have written on a sticky note, and go stick it on the mirror. Okay, bye for now.